Novel. I'm reading serial novel from the Asahi Weekly, Sunday, July 11th, 2010. It's called Treasure in the Mountain, Simon no Natsuyasumi by Christopher Belton. Simon quickly opened the envelope and took out the piece of paper it contained. The message was written in the same handwriting as the first message, and once again signed, "A Friend." It was a little longer than the previous message and contained detailed instructions to what Simon hoped was a clue to his grandfather's location. "The direction you have followed from the bus shelter is east. Turn 1/4 to your left until you are facing north, and then walk straight for approximately 40 paces. Checking behind him to confirm the direction of his approach, Simon obeyed the instruction and began to count off 40 paces. When he arrived at the spot, he read the next line of the message. "Now look up the incline to your right. You will see the trunk of an old fallen tree. Walk to the trunk and climb over it." Simon looked to the east, and sure enough, about 50 meters up the incline, laid a tree that looked as if it had fallen several decades ago. He hurried up to it and looked around. It was mostly hidden from sight by brambles and ferns, and he realized that the only place that would afford a clear view had been the place to which he had been directed. The trunk had mostly crumbled away with the ravages of time, but it was still large enough to require an effort to climb over. When he was safely on the other side, Simon read the next instruction. "Now look due east. The incline becomes more gentle, but a large mound of earth protrudes from the ground. Move to this mound and look for an area of freshly churned earth that is hidden beneath undergrowth and dead branches." The excitement of the hunt was beginning to affect Simon. He had guessed by now that the instructions were not leading him to his grandfather, but to something completely different. Although disappointed that the mystery that had troubled him most still seemed far beyond his reach, the new mystery that had presented itself was both intriguing and stimulating. It shamed him to think that he was giving precedence to following the instructions when he should have been concentrating on searching for his grandfather. But something at the back of his mind told him that the instructions were important. He tentatively moved the word treasure around in his mind. But after the disappointment of the previous day, he was reluctant to build up his expectations too much. The mound was clearly visible from where he stood. It rose 5 meters above the floor of the woods and had a diameter of maybe 10 meters, seemingly almost too symmetrical to have been made by nature. Simon hurried toward it and then started circling it to the right. At about 1/3 around the edge, he came to a spot that appeared to have been purposefully hidden from view. Ferns and brambles had been pulled over it, and then a large number of both small and large branches were piled on top. Simon removed a few of the branches and kicked aside the undergrowth. Beneath was fresh soil that had recently been turned over. Feeling slightly elated, but also a little fearful, Simon removed the message from his pocket and stared at the final word that it contained. Dig. Shrugging his shoulders, Simon cleared back more of the branches and undergrowth and found himself a sturdy twig with which to dig. He then crouched down and attacked the earth. Meanwhile, to his rear, 2 eyes watched his every movement from the cover of the trees. To be continued.